But those artists, Nicki Minaj, Ice Spice, I hope, don't mess up like this artist did. All right? Because before I play that song, I talked about how this artist messed up and disowned all her fans by, standing on everything she stood for and tossing it to the side and coming out with these allegations. And I'm going to tell you who it is and what allegations we haven't found out by now. If your dreams haven't been crushed, absolutely destroyed, smothered. But before I do that, I'm going to ask these people here their favorite artist. And, if their favorite artist, dead or alive, was to disrespect them, would they still be able to listen to their music? Separate the art from the artist. So I'm going to start off with Justin.
I've said for years, I've made this argument multiple times on multiple morning shows. I always could separate the art from the artist.
That's why you like R. Kelly, right?
I love R. Kelly's music. I don't like R. Kelly the human being, but I listen to the World's Greatest all the time.
He loves R. Kelly.
That's a great song, World's Greatest. I Believe I Could Fly. I love going back. I'm a big professional wrestling fan, and I love watching Chris Benoit wrestle. I love it. There's nobody more intense in the wrestling ring than Chris Benoit. Unfortunately, what he did was horrendous. He murdered his wife and child.
Yep.
That's not good. It's not. I don't look at him as a good human being, but as a fan of the art of pro wrestling, I look at his work of art, and I don't think it's touched. I think it's unparalleled what he was able to do in the wrestling ring. So I always have been able to separate the art from the artist. All these celebrities, I don't know them. I don't know any of them.
Yep.
So how can I say that they're good people or not? I've met some of them at conventions. Some of them have been nice to me. Some of them feel like they're nice people. Like a guy like Mick Foley, the wrestler, it doesn't seem like he has a bad bone. He seems like a good guy. But again, I've never had dinner with him. I don't know all about him. I'd like to think he's a good guy. I would be heartbroken if he ended up some allegations coming up against him. But again, I'd still be able to enjoy what he was able to do. If we start picking and choosing what people we can and cannot listen to because of the bad things that they've done in their lives, there would be no music, there'd be no art, because very few individuals have gone an entire lifetime without doing something that is, disgusting. Think about all these artists from the 50s and 60s. Guys like John Lennon, used to beat his ex-wife.
Elvis the Groomer.
Jerry Lee Lewis, the Groomer.
Michael Jackson,
the pedophile.
America's Dad. Hey.
Bill Cosby.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Cosby's a rough one. He's out of jail, though. He's fine. He's chilling.
Yeah.
He did his time, I guess. All 1 month of it.
Yeah, well, that's a whole loophole situation as to why he got out of prison.
Well, since I got your opinion on that, what's your favorite artist?
My favorite
dead or alive?
artist?
Your number one.
I like the Beatles. The Beatles are my favorite group of all time. If I'm going to pick a solo artist, I'll probably go with Prince.
So if all five Beatles...
Beatles.
If all four Beatles, including Ringo, baby.
Yeah, if they spit in my face.
Beat up your grandma.
Oh, my God.
Music.
Oh, my God.
That'd be great. And she'd be singing the Beatles song. She'd say, help! I need somebody! Help! Not just anybody. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Nice.
To say that my grandma got beat up by George Harrison.
That is quite the story, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, I can always separate art from artist, and some people can't. And I would never push that upon somebody. If somebody says I can't watch a Chris Benoit match because of what he did, I fully understand that. If somebody said I can't listen to Michael Jackson, I understand that.
Yeah.
But I can, and that's my choice.
I like it.
And it's
Say it loud and proud.
It's really weird what we pick and choose to cancel. I hear all the stations playing Michael Jackson music.
Yep.
You know, come Halloween time, everyone's playing Thriller.
Everyone's Thriller.
Oh, yeah.
Think about all the commercials. There's commercials that play Michael Jackson.
Yep.
So it's weird. Like, why is he canceled from some people and other people have no problem playing him? You know, The Simpsons actually pulled the episode of Michael Jackson.
No way.
Yep. It's not allowed on the Disney streaming service.
Very lame.
So,
that was Disney who pulled it.
No, that was a Simpsons call, actually.
No,
really?
Yeah, and luckily
That wasn't Disney?
No, luckily I do have my because it was actually pulled before they got the deal from Disney. But luckily I do have my DVD box set, so I am able to watch that episode. It's a really good episode.
We should all go over Justin's house and watch.
We could watch.
I don't want to go anywhere near Justin's house.
Oh, come on! You can come over and get some popcorn.
I don't think I would trust anything, any popcorn.
You could play with my stuffed animals with the holes in them.
There we go.
Oh, I don't think I think they'd be a little bit heavy, or maybe
sticky.
a little hard for some reason. Maybe smell kind of gross. Who knows?
Liam, how about you? Who's your favorite artist?
Who's my favorite artist?
Yeah.
I really liked Kanye.
You like Kanye? Oh, well, he already did it to you, I guess.
Yikes.
Yeah. So But
Do you
that's
think you separate the art from the artist? Because I still listen to Kanye.
I listened to
don't
Kanye
care.
at the beach the other day.
I
Listen,
love me some Kanye.
Yeah.
that's the thing. To be that good at something, I feel like you have to have a couple of screws loose. And, I can still listen to his music and I don't think about it. If I listen to some of his newer music, like, some of the, like Jesus is King, like then I'm not listening to that.
Or
but
like Pete Davidson song. Like, you ever heard that one?
Which one?
It's
Yes. So once it just gets into like the music that just feeds what like his ego, it's just like, all right, this is just for him, not for me. But if I'm listening to like Yeezus or something,
what's your favorite Kanye album? It's a big debate. If you say Pablo, I'll be quite mad.
Probably My Beautiful Dark Twisted
Fantasy.
Nice.
Good answer.
It's one of my favorite albums ever.
I don't mind Graduation as the answer either, honestly.
Oh, Graduation's good too. I like that
There's
album.
There's a few good answers. I love Late Registration too.
Oh, interesting.
So, but I think you have to separate the art from the artist. Because listen, if you're that, like I said, if you're that good at something, you have to have a couple of screws loose, to be
definitely
that obsessed with music.
Especially
and
artists
everything.
too. They see the world differently. They see it in like clefts.
Yeah, it's a tortured lifestyle. I bet.
I can only
It's not
imagine.
making any excuses.
Sandy, how about you? What's your favorite artist?
Hatsune Miku.
That's not an artist.
It's a Vocaloid.
It's the same thing. What?
It's literally not the same thing.
Does she not sing?
Well, yeah, but she's not an artist. She's not even a real person.
She's an artist. What
No,
is the
she's
difference?
not.
I'm telling you, she's an
someone
artist.
is the artist though. There's a voice behind.
Well, yeah,
it.
there's somebody that is the artist, but it's not Hatsune Miku herself because she's not real. She doesn't write the music.
Who sings it? Do you know what the person looks like? Or is that a mystery? You don't want to know.
It's a woman.
No, I do know. I forgot what her name was, though.
But you've seen her. Like,
Yes,
they've actually
I've
showed
seen
her
her.
visuals before?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but she herself, like, even though, like, it's her voice, like, singing the songs, she didn't write them. So she's not the artist itself.
She's still a performer, though.
Kind of. It's, like, very complicated, and I won't get into it now because then it's going to take up way too long.
Yeah, it'll be really boring.
I appreciate that. Cool.
Okay, but my favorite artist right now, that's a good question. I have no idea. I'd have to just say, like, Eve right now because all American
Shout out
artists
to
are
Eve,
failing
yo.
me. But yeah, when it comes to separating the art from the artist, I think it's very nuanced. I can't just say like, oh yeah, I can definitely separate this person. It definitely depends on what they've done. Because at least for Kanye, I don't listen to Kanye. I never really have. He's never been on my radar. But even if he was, I just sincerely don't believe that I'd be able to separate the art from the artist, especially when he contributed to something like anti-Semitism as much as he has. And a lot of his fans just enable him. They just say like, "Oh, he's just sharing his opinion."
Being a
He's
Kanye
just-
fan is not a good look, honestly. They kind of stink nowadays.
It's not. And like I'm being fully honest. And like this also the thing about supporting them is that it's not just like in taking their work. It's also, like contributing to like their fame and also like basically putting money in their pocket. Every time you stream something on Spotify, they get paid for it.
Well, Kanye at one point was a billionaire, so at this point, it doesn't really matter what we do.
Yeah,
The man
that's
made
true.
Some real money.
But it's like, I don't know, I just in good conscience can't really ingest something. I mean, if I really want to listen to it, then I'm going to do it in a way that doesn't like contribute to them. Like I'd pirate the song or something.
It's interesting that you, and I don't even mean this as a shot, I don't know if you said it on the air, I think it was off the air, you were talking about true crime podcasts.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you're able to listen to people talk about murderers. And I'm not even meaning this as a shot, but like, it's weird that like certain people can get publicity and people were obsessed with the Jeffrey Dahmer show. People love watching these true crime things. What is the difference between watching something like that or watching a documentary on Hitler? You're still engaging and watching and giving ratings. It's not like, I'm sure those documentaries aren't like, he's amazing, but it's still like, you're still watching it. You're still giving them the attention that they craved.
Okay, well, for one, I think you kind of misinterpreted what I said. I never said that I enjoy true crime. I'm just saying it's interesting that nobody has proposed a true crime podcast. Because if I was interested in true crime, then I would have proposed a true crime podcast. But I'm not into true crime.
Okay, but
So,
I wasn't even saying that about
No,
you.
and
I'm just
I
saying about
understand.
people in general.
No, but that was just my first point.
Okay.
I was just saying, like, I'm not into true crime. But also the difference between, like watching a podcast, or like the difference between watching a documentary about Hitler and listening to Kanye's albums is that Well, for one, Kanye is still alive. He's very much still alive.
Hitler
and he
might be alive.
Argentina.
Yeah, he
Well,
went to
from what we know, Hitler isn't alive. And also, documentaries are made to be educational. They're meant to educate you about a certain time period. Listening to Kanye's albums isn't really teaching you anything.
But
it's not teaching you about the history of what happened, something very serious, something very big that happened.
But I'm sure somebody's watched some of these documentaries or read something and said, oh, I kind of like this guy's ideas.
Ted Bundy.
Yeah, but that isn't necessarily the whole purpose of them, because there is a huge difference between Kanye's albums and these documentaries. These documentaries are made to teach people things. That's why they're made. That's also why, while I don't really enjoy true crime, they're also made to educate about something that happened, to talk about something that happened, saying why it happened, if it could happen again. You know, that's the point of true crime and documentaries. Or like if you compare it to like Kanye's albums were made to just entertain. They were made to share his message, but it's definitely not on the same scale as something that's meant to be educational. Mm-hmm. They aren't really the same thing. You can't really compare them to the same realm, especially since true crime, people who like create true crime content, they themselves aren't the murderers. So they aren't so the murderers themselves aren't benefiting from the horrible crime that they did.
But they're making money. The profitizing, is that even a word? They're making money off of the horrific crimes that these guys created. They are giving them the glory that they wanted. You know, a majority of these murderers, they do this to get that notoriety, to be that icon in a sick, demented, twisted way. And for people to make documentaries about them, to give them, you know, a lot of people were like turned on by this, Ted Bundy movie that came out a few years ago. What's the other one? The Dahmer one. People were fascinated by that. A lot of people glorified him. And they're making money off of murders of individuals. I think that is far worse than listening to an R. Kelly song.
And real quick before we keep going on this, because it's a conversation, I just want to say we're talking about this because there's a celebrity come out in the news who has, turned away from anything she's stood for and been caught in some allegations that may ruin her career and a lot of her business, because that's really who she claims to be, all about this type of positivity, if you will, and she went really against it. So go on, guys, my bad. Just want to make sure I made that up.
Oh, that's all I really got to say about that. I just, my final statement is I can watch and listen and enjoy people's art and then think they're scumbags in real life. I wouldn't want to have dinner with Bill Cosby, but I would watch The Cosby Show.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a very nuanced conversation. It's not very much just a write off, like write on. Because for me, it just depends on like who did what exactly they did, the ways that I ingest their content. It's very much like a financial thing for me.
You don't want to ingest Cosby's content.
I really don't want to ingest anything relating to Cosby.
Drinks either, his cocktails, if you will.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely wouldn't want to do that.
Or any tail.
Nope.
Frank, I'm going to move on to you quickly if I could. Who's your favorite artist, Frank?
A favorite artist? I got a lot of favorite artists.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah. Bon Jovi, baby.
Oh, yeah, Bon Jovi.
No, but seriously, who's your favorite artist?
No, he likes Bill Bon Jovi. I've heard him talk about that.
I play him on the Nassau Mix a lot.
You can? Nice.
Well, he's got some 2000s
Yeah, he
songs.
has some 2000s.
Okay,
he's got a lot, actually. Even, like, some recent ones, too. Big fan of Bon Jovi, Billy Joel, some other artists, too. If any of them were to do something, like what? Like what kind of situation would you say?
They could say that everything they've done was just for money and they don't actually have passion for their fans or their music and that all their followers are a bunch of chumps, stuff like that. Would you still be able to, digest their music and, separate the art from the artist and be like, well, either way, I'm a fan of this music that was created?
I mean, that would be horrible if an artist actually came out and said something like that it was all just for money, not for fans, not for, changing people's lives.
Yeah.
That would be bad, but I feel like I could still somehow separate the music.
I actually kind of respect that they would say that, because I would imagine...
Oh, like honesty?
Honesty, and honestly, if a lot of these celebrities were saying why they get into certain things, they get into it for money. A lot of people, it's a job for a lot of people. I've heard a lot of wrestlers say it's all about the paycheck. Like having a good match is cool and all, but making money and staying healthy and providing for your family, if that's what's most important, I think that's an honest thing.
Yeah, a lot of people really don't realize that a majority of what we do is for money. A majority of people would not be doing their jobs if it weren't for the money.
Yeah.
Like, do you think people in hospitals would be working if they didn't get a paycheck? And I'm not saying that to be cynical. I legitimately mean that, especially like in this society where we live, where money rules all. Right. You have to make money. Like, and it's always so funny to me because it's always like minimum wage jobs too that are just like, I know you just came here for the paycheck. Of course I did, Jennifer. That's the point. I want to make money. I promise you, 80% of people wouldn't be doing the jobs that they're doing today if they didn't get a paycheck out of it. Honestly, I might even say 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
I want you to get into that once you want to talk, because I know you want to talk about Doja Cat, so I want to get into that conversation after I explain. So this is Lizzo, obviously. Lizzo's who we're talking about this whole time. She had this her backup dancers, accuse her of harassment and creating a hostile work environment. This was, of course, for her Amazon Prime show, I believe, or she had a show somewhere where she was having a bunch of cameras behind the scenes, and her backup dancers spoke up on it. And so these professional dancers are demanding a jury trial in their lawsuit against Lizzo. And the allegations include sexual, racial, and religious harassment and false imprisonment. But the big part of all these allegations are coming out as the body shaming she did to these backup dancers, which completely ruins her whole big positivity and everything she stands for, which is instilled not only in her music but her whole character and everything, her line of merchandise, everything she stands for is about body positivity. And she claimed that there would be there'd be no such thing as body positivity if there was no such thing as fat shaming. So body positivity comes from fat shaming, and here she is doing the same thing, which is fat shaming.
I'm sorry, who cares about that? Did you say false imprisonment?
Yeah, no, I'm telling you about that. There's some real allegations that are much worse than
far worse than fat shaming.
She once made one of her backup dancers train for 48 hours straight to prove that she wasn't drunk.
What? Yeah, this is stuff that she did as a boss, where people will just write off as her just being a very strict and annoying boss, but some of this stuff is really
illegal. That's what some of it is.
Liam, that came to a shock to me.
Hard, yeah.
Me too. The false imprisonment, that's a big one.
These are big allegations.
I have to say,
very big.
Forget the other ones. The false imprisonment could hold serious consequences.
Now, if these allegations don't stand and they lose the trial, this could still kind of tarnish her career, because this is stuff that you never think you'd hear next to Lizzo's name, honestly.
Yeah, this is the Ellen for Gen Z people.
Yeah, honestly, this is kind of what this feels like. But I know you wanted to get into the Doja Cat thing, so I'm going to
before you move on to Doja Cat, I just wanted to say one quick thing. This might be controversial, but I'm still going to say it.
Oh, here it comes.
Oh my God.
It's not healthy to be the size that Lizzo is.
Oh my gosh.
It's actually not.
You don't think she's promoting it?
This is so annoying. I hate when people say this. Do you say the same thing about skinny people? Because there are people who are very deathly skinny.
You have, if she's morbidly obese, she's not going to live a long life.
But she's not morbidly obese.
Yes, she is.
Though. No, she's not.
I guarantee if she went to a doctor, they would say she's morbidly obese.
She's a pretty big gal.
Well, she definitely is big.
And that's not healthy. You have health issues when you eat that way and don't exercise.
She does exercise. She's a dancer.
If she went to a doctor, they would say she has to lose weight. It's not healthy. She's not going to live past 50.
Well, yeah,
if she keeps that up.
She definitely has to lose weight, but it's not so much promoting it. It's more so just making people be okay with being overweight, because it's a lot easier said than done to lose weight, especially since there are a lot of health conditions that contribute to people being overweight. But also, a lot of people really don't say this about thinner people. They'll see people who are underweight and they're just see, that's what you should look like.
I've seen plenty of people that are way too thin, and they get spoken to the same way.
Not nearly as often. And I'm going to straight up say it. It's not nearly as often. I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen, because it definitely does happen, but not nearly to the extent that fat people do. Because I look through a comment section through a fat person. It has nothing to do with their weight. They're just showing off their outfit, or they're literally just talking about what they did that day. And all the comments are talking about how fat they are. But you'll see someone who's pretty underweight, and then literally nobody talks about their weight. It's not the same thing when it comes to skinny people and fat people.
I think both are equally bad. I think if somebody And again, a lot of this could actually be attributed to a mental health thing. And again, I support mental health issues and all of that. But a lot of people eat to cope for certain issues. A lot of people don't eat because of mental health issues or body dysmorphia, or they have issues. And I understand that. But, if she's promoting that lifestyle, which I think she has promoted that and she has reinforced that being large is a good thing. If you asked an actual physician, they would say it's not. It's not a good thing. And I'm not saying I'm Jack LaLanne or, superstar Billy Graham. I'm not in the best shape either, but I work at it. I exercise. I try and eat healthy. And I'm just saying that it's not the best thing to be what Lizzo size is.
Yeah, but that's another thing. A lot of people automatically assume that Lizzo doesn't work out, and of course, I'm not going to excuse Lizzo for anything she did. I'm just saying, this is a facet of her life that she has been open about. Well, for one, she's a performer, so obviously she has to work out. She's a dancer. To perform up there, to have that much stamina takes a lot of work. And also, she actually does have a vegan diet. Yeah. She does eat very healthy, and she posts a lot about it.
She does go, walk on a treadmill for, the whole live stream.
Yeah, so it's that's another thing that really irritates me about this conversation. A lot of people automatically assume that just because you're fat means that you don't work out. It means that you don't eat healthy. It means that you're eating burgers all day and sitting on your couch. When especially for, a performer of Lizzo's caliber, that is not physically possible for her.
If she exercised and ate the proper diet, there's no way she would be that large. But that's just science. I was morbidly obese. I weighed 245 pounds at one point, and I lost the weight by exercising and eating less.
But that's the thing, though. Lizzo does work out, and everybody's bodies are different. Some people just lose weight a lot slower than other people. A lot of people just keep the weight on. There's also a lot of health conditions that do that.
Yes.
Because it's because again, you're pulling these things, but it's also it is literally impossible for Lizzo to not work out, because to have that much stamina to perform on stage, to be able to dance like that, you cannot say that she doesn't work out.
I never said that she doesn't work out. There's plenty of look at Vader and Bam Bam Bigelow and Andre the Giant. They were able to wrestle, and they were still at an unhealthy weight. But look at the offensive linemen in the NFL. No doctor would say, yeah, it's good that you're 325 pounds. Sure, you're able to block for Tom Brady, but your arteries are also blocked, and you're not going to live long.
But you did say earlier, she wouldn't be that weight if she were to eat healthy and work out.
Yes, if she went on a strict diet with a dietitian and exercise, with her amount of money that she had, she could easily not be that weight.
But still, well, for one...
And that would be good for her in the long run.
But still, it's mostly just promoting body positivity, because it's not easy for a lot of people to lose weight, especially since a lot of people aren't as rich as Lizzo. And I feel like fat people deserve the same respect that skinny people do. I feel like they should be able to walk down the street without people looking at them like they're these monsters.
Yeah, listen, I agree with everything you're saying, Sandy, but it's become kind of a conversation sometimes with how big people are getting, because of, I've seen this thing about planes now, and how people are... feel like they have the people are around the planes, right? People who have to sit next to big people, they feel as if they're why are they not buying two seats? And now I have to sit next to somebody who makes it uncomfortable for them to be in this little seat aisle. And the people who are also, quite large, they're explaining how it's unreasonable that they have to fly like this, and they should be accommodated properly. And it's just to a point where where does it end? You know what I mean? Where does it go as far as because we're in a very positive world nowadays. Everything is an issue for some things, and it's not a bad thing that's the case, because it'd probably be back then it was terrible as well, in the opposite direction. So it just means how many accommodations are going to make and have things to cut to accommodate people like this, you know what I mean? So I feel that's kind of what I'm saying, that promoting this is where does it end? And there's going to be something.
I understand, but I don't believe that we should be I'm not sure, I can't think of the right word.
Yeah.
I don't think that we should make people feel bad because we're scared that it's going to go too much in the other direction.
Right.
Because sure, you can say this, but I don't think that being but what if somebody's 600 pounds should negate the fact that somebody who's overweight should feel comfortable in their body. And I'm not, and of course, people always say, if it gets to the point where you're legitimately can't get up, you're winded after walking up a flight of stairs, then of course you have to get help. But I don't think that we should make all fat people feel bad because of that. Because in the end, you don't know how much somebody works out. In the end, you don't know how somebody eats. And also, like, you see it a lot at the gym where people will make fun of fat people for working out. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you're going to make fun of somebody for being overweight, but then also make fun of them for trying to lose weight.
I think there's a huge difference between making fun of somebody for being large, which I'm not a fan of. I never said that ever in any of my statements.
I don't think that's true.
When did I say that?
You were making jokes about Lizzo being overweight.
Well, that's just a joke about Lizzo. As far as going up to an actual individual and making fun of them because of their appearance, I would not do that. But what I would do is I would promote a healthy lifestyle. I think promoting healthy living and eating healthy and exercising is different than going up to a fat person and saying, you're not allowed at this gym, or filming them because they're large.
Yeah, but people still do that. And even though you don't contribute to that, which is appreciated, it's still a lot of people do. And also, a lot of people, when they just say, oh, just lose weight, just be smaller, it encourages people to, develop eating disorders sometimes because they're trying to lose the weight so fast. And of course, like, there are a lot of people that really, like, do go on a very strict diet and they do try to work out, but that also takes a lot of willpower. And that comes a lot easier for some other people than others.
It is very difficult. And I fully understand that. My mom just brought home cake and apple pie. And I said, why are you bringing this here? Don't tempt me with that, because I get the temptation. I go through these moments where I binge eat and do that stuff. I understand how difficult it could be, and I understand how easy it is to get something like a McDonald's. It's cheap and it's fast. And if you have a family and you need to feed them all, you go to McDonald's and they just, eat that horrible stuff. So I understand that it's easy and not, but I also think that there should be more of an effort to promote, every single time I come in to this office on Friday or Thursday, there's always cookies, there's always candy, there's never grapes, there's never carrots, there's never...
Who's going to bring carrots to the station?
There should be. There shouldn't be fattening Twizzlers and chocolate chip cookies. Yeah. There should be options for healthy living. That should be something that is promoted more and praised upon.
But honestly, you bringing that up opens a whole other can of worms, because it makes me think of how difficult it is to actually eat healthy here, because there's this one YouTuber that I really enjoy that brought up a really good point, and he says how much easier it is to just eat unhealthy. It's so much easier to go to McDonald's, get your cheap meal, get your cheap fast meal, than to go to a place that like Chopped that makes salads, and the salad's going to be like $15. It takes longer to make.
It tastes, and let's be honest, salad don't taste as good as a Big Mac.
Of course. So it's so much more difficult to be skinnier. And sure, like, we can say these things all we want, but really to make an actual change in how people eat and how people work out is by changing things almost like systematically, by making things that are healthier, more accessible, and quicker and cheaper to eat.
It's definitely something. Oh, go ahead.
We all live in the same world. We have choices we can make. Like, we could all go to a grocery store once a week and say, all right, I'll have let me get healthy things for the whole week. I don't have to go out again. Compared to, I'm really hungry. Let me, spend $5 on a delivery fee to get it delivered here, and then have to tip a driver. And think about it. Half of America is either overweight or obese,
and that's not good.
But also, while we live in the same world, we all don't live the same life. We all don't have the same work schedules. We all don't have the same finances. We all don't have the same body metabolisms. So to say that we live in the same world isn't really valid, because we all don't live the same life.